Many travelers dream of experiencing the beauty of Tanzania, from its stunning national parks to vibrant cultural sites. Yet the costs often seem overwhelming. But with Visit Tanzania for Less, exploring this East African gem on a budget is not only possible, but incredibly rewarding. Whether you're a solo backpacker, a volunteer, or just a budget-conscious traveler, we provide valuable insights and resources to make your journey unforgettable without breaking the bank. Book your trip now with just a $300 deposit and flexible monthly payments until your travel date. For more travel inspiration and tips, follow us on Instagram or visit us at visittanzaniaforless.com. Visit Tanzania for Less, your dream adventure within reach.
What's something people don't know about community impact? A simple donation can transport kids to the heart of Ghana, opening a world of possibilities. Since 2017, thanks to 103.7, The Beat and community supporters like you, dozens of kids have embarked on a journey of a lifetime to Ghana. This isn't just any trip. It's filled with learning, adventure, and joy. These kids are diving into a culture rich in tradition. They're learning about the world beyond their textbooks. This program educates and connects communities, building bridges. Your support can light up a child's life. It's an exploration of potential and a celebration of new friendships. Donate today at kidsfreetriptoafrica.com. Every donation matters. Please donate today at kidsfreetriptoafrica.com. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Muskegon. This June 21st, 2024, back in the mothership in the station. Welcome to the show. You know, Muskegon's own, Torn in Two, the only show providing news, information, and more. How you doing, Muskegon, on this 21st of June in this hot weather? Let me get my buddy in here. Pastor Burns, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you gentlemen this afternoon?
Great. I'm glad you made it. What's the weather forecast? Did you get that information?
No, but give me 2 seconds. Okay, weather today. Can I just say hot?
Hot.
No,
That's all you got to do is say hot.
low 69, high 83. Tomorrow, 80% chance of rain. Things will not cool off very much, though. We'll have a low 69, high of 80. Things do start to cool off a bit Sunday, low 63, high 74. Monday, sunny, low 62, high of 77. Tuesday, again, a 50% chance of rain, low 63, high 83. Wednesday and Thursday, things will heat up a little bit. Wednesday, low 63, high 72. Thursday, again, sunny, high 56, low 72.
All right. Thank you for the weather, sir.
Yes.
Listen, I just want to tell you guys, it is a pleasure doing this show, and the response from you guys have just been tremendous, whether we're in the supermarket or whatever. You guys appreciate this show, and we appreciate you. Need to say that. Anything you want to say on that, Pastor Burns?
No, I do get comments all the time, and we always appreciate whether it's good or bad, but I appreciate the fact we get to talk to the community and talk to folks in the community.
We do want to say also with that, the name of the show is going to be changed. And if you have an idea of which way we should go, I'm sure this guy would probably like it to be the Muskegon Big Red show of information and news.
Well, that'd be a problem.
We'll work on that. But anyway, we're going to change the name of the show. The reason why the Torn in Two, we try to be a political show, and people are just too dug in. And regardless if you tried to break the glass and get rid of the smoke, people didn't want to hear the information. So we decided to just be the total news information, bringing that to you. With that said, our first guest is the superintendent here's to the campus that is beautiful to see. Muskegon High School Superintendent Matthew Cortez is in the building. Put your hands together, Muskegon. How you doing, sir?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. So tell people a little bit about yourself because we got to catch up on a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, we do. So this is into my 5th year as superintendent here.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So it's been a wonderful 5 years. I'm originally from the east side of the state, transplant over, discovered Muskegon on a camping trip.
Wow.
And since the water's blue, we were like, all right, let's head over there because it's not as blue on the other side of the state.
Yeah.
And rest is history. I mean, my son's graduating next year, and my daughter just bought a house right near Bunker. So, I'm setting roots. I'm here for good.
Why education? Why did you choose that field?
I originally went to U of M, Ann Arbor, and I was in engineering. And I came home my freshman year during the summertime, and my mom told me, you can't be an engineer. You need to serve community. You need to do more. So I switched over to School of Education.
Let me say this before we go further. I was at my grandson's graduation, and I just had a deep feeling of just wanting to say to all the teachers and administrators, thank you for what you do because you educate our future, and we really appreciate what you guys do.
Well, thank you. It's very important. I have a tremendous staff. I couldn't ask for more dedicated teachers. I couldn't ask for more dedicated staff members in the buildings at central office.
Okay.
Majority of my staff, my teachers, they don't punch a clock. They're on it. As long as they need to do it, and they take it more.
Pastor Burns.
I just I echo your sentiments. As we wrap up the school year, we appreciate all the efforts of the teachers, and as Mr. Cortez says, they don't punch a time clock, and anybody that's been around them know the hours and dedication. So we appreciate it very much.
All right, so give us, because man, we only have 21 minutes to talk about so much stuff. So let's get caught up on what's happening with Muskegon High School.
There's so much going on at one time. We have major construction at the high school campus. We're expanding parking lots. We're eventually going to redo the parking lot between the two buildings, between Potter and the old manual building. We debuted the middle school in April.
Beautiful,
end of April,
by the
beginning
way.
of May. Oh, it's a gorgeous building, isn't it?
Yes.
I think a lot of people didn't think that the school would be that nice. I think, they were thinking very old school when they were thinking of a school building getting built and things of that nature. And everybody commented on the openness and the amount of light in the building. So it's been a pleasure. It's, that seeing a culmination of 4 years of work come together like that is just awe-inspiring, watching teams work so hard toward a common goal.
How important is it for our kids to feel that they're just as equally important in having the best, whether it's books, whether it's buildings? How important is it that they should feel special?
It's a base foundation that you're talking about, right? But I don't want them to feel special. I want them to feel elite. We're going to lead this county.
Right.
And we've already started out, our community stood behind us. We're doing 21st century facilities. We're surpassing people around us with the facilities we're putting together. And at the same time, we're doing an academic transformation into a model that will be the fourth school in the state of Michigan to be an academy-based model K through 12.
Now, let's talk about that because some of you listeners, and by the way, share this message if you are driving and would like to revisit it. You can always do that by going to our sites, WVS 103.7 The Beat, Facebook, or M106, if you would like to see this. Okay, so talk about this model.
So what happens is, as a student starts in pre-kindergarten and they go all the way through 8th grade, we are giving students defined experiences each year as they go through. Those experiences are going to tie to jobs and occupations that are right within our community, so that we expose them to what is in our community and things that they could do when they graduate. It culminates at the 9th grade level when they enter the freshman academy. And so the freshman academy, when they come into the high school, they're going to have a Future of You conference where they actually meet all of the people that from local businesses and local institutions. We even have military there, police, fire, so that they can talk to people and actually see people and see themselves in certain careers if they want to. In 10th grade, they identify which of the career academies they want to go to. For example, we haven't defined them. This is our year of master planning that we're starting right now. And we haven't defined them, but an example would be like health and human services. So I would have picked that because I want to be a teacher. So that's part of health and human services. But you could have picked it too if you wanted to be a doctor. And so in 10th grade, we identify the academy and we start looking at the different occupations there. By the end of 10th grade, we're going to declare our pathway. And then we're going to try and give every student a real life experience in 11th grade in that career that they're looking at. And then in 12th grade, our goal is half of the students' days are with an internship in that field, and the other half are back at the high school being educated or taking college courses.
Nice, nice. Pastor Burns.
No, exciting. We talked about that previously. I'll throw in a pitch for government and public service as one of those academies, one of those students. I did have another question, Mr. Cortez. Any comments going back to the tours of the school? Did you hear any comments that just really stand out or kind of surprised you from the folks that had a chance to tour the building?
You know, it was everybody was so positive and upbeat. And when I talk about everybody, so we had 3 different events that took place. The Friday event was for businesses, leadership, and people in the city that are like service, like governmental and things like that. And we had about 350 people come. And then on Tuesday, we had a parent, student, and staff night. On that one, we got about 1,600 people that came through.
Wow.
So we served 1,100 meals that night. So not everybody ate. So we know it was a very large number. On the actual Thursday that we had the dedication, I think there was somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 people that came through there.
Wow.
It was a big number. It took them 40 minutes to get into the doors from the dedication ceremony. So there's a lot of people. It takes 40 minutes. So, you know, what I heard was it just, people were awestruck. I had people tell me, I couldn't even think that this school would be this beautiful and this open. And I had a lot of people say, our kids deserve it. And you know, that's the one that really grips me, is about the kids deserving it. They also talked about the light. Like, they're standing in the hallway, in the academic hallway, and they're talking about how light and bright and airy the hallway is. And I'm looking around, there's not a window in that hallway. Wow. That's all created purposely through daylight harvesting. So, you know, that type of technology is at the forefront and now is part of our students' educations, but it's also going through all of our buildings, because the systems we're putting in the middle school are the same type of systems we're putting in all of our schools.
Okay, so we talked about the middle school. Give us some of the things that are coming up right now.
So right now, like, we have, we just got out for summer. We're closing up our school year and getting ready to open the new school year. So first day of school for students is going to be August 26th. That's a Monday. My staff will come back the weeks before that. What I can say is the largest thing that I can point toward right now is the ninth graders that are entering our high school this year will be the first class to actually go through this whole academy model. So it will come into that school as they progress through it.
Okay.
That is our goal. And so the ninth graders are going to come into the freshman academy. We have a number of people that have interested in school of choicing in. We have a number of people that live in our district that are now making the decision, I'm going to come back, bring my kids back, because that's been a large problem for us. We've lost enrollment because people are taking their kids to other districts. And we have to get better at communicating with our entire community the tremendous things that we are doing across our entire spectrum of grades.
Okay. It's one thing to have the great buildings and stuff, but how can people be sure that they are getting the top education in Muskegon County?
When I came here 5 years ago, my son was in 7th grade. He's a senior next year. I am telling you, the education that he has received rivals everyone. That's the bottom line.
I need you to say that again now.
The education that he has received at Muskegon Public Schools, it rivals every district I've ever seen or worked for.
Can I add this? And I like your thoughts on it. Muskegon, being in Muskegon High School, not only do you get an education, but you get the education of learning how to deal with everyone, every culture.
Right. The diversity is just tremendous, right?
Right.
There's another thing that you get. You're part of a family. I've been in 8 districts as different positions, teacher, administrator, superintendent. I have never felt the tradition in the family atmosphere that I feel with the Big Red family. It is second to none. I can tell you, like, no one goes back to their high school and does what Big Reds do for the high school after graduation and things of that nature. This is a 150th graduating class next year.
Nice.
Class of 2025. And we're just getting started.
Pastor Burns.
Yeah, we're talking about we have a short period of time, but talk about some of the things going on at the other schools in addition to the high school.
So all of our elementaries, so we're going to have all 3 elementaries are going to have a debut ceremony, probably the second week of August. We're going to send some dates out, but we'll open up the revitalized Marquette, open up the revitalized Oakview, and we're doing the finishing touches on Bunker. All 3 of them have a $250,000 STEAM lab in it for our students to be able to use. The same exact investment was made at the middle school. If you walk through the middle school and you saw the STEAM lab there. And it's not about the facilities. What it's about is giving our kids the edge. We have to prepare them for what lies ahead. When I was in school, the big thing was, are you allowed to use a calculator? Name a time in our life right now where you don't have a calculator. It's right on your phone. It's tied to your hip, right? That's the reality of the situation. And that technology has progressed so much farther. We have to teach our children and our students how to use that technology, but also how to be responsible with it.
There you go. There you go. I want your opinion of a school or district that are taking cell phones away from the kids. Your thoughts?
I think that cell phones pose a unique challenge in whatever school they're in. What we are looking at with our middle school is what's called the Yonder system. And so we give the students, it's basically like a pouch. They seal their phone in the pouch, but they get to carry it with them the whole day.
Okay.
And then they can unlock the pouch at the end of the day as they're exiting the door, and they get their cell phone back.
Okay.
I eat lunch with a group of middle schoolers and I eat lunch with a group of high schoolers every month, once a month, so that my students have direct access to me as the leader of the district. My middle school students said, we don't want to lose our cell phones, but because they're causing so many challenges, we're willing to.
Okay.
That's a powerful statement
That's a powerful statement.
from an 11-year-old,
Powerful
12-year-old. Yes.
That's worse.
How's the feedback been from parents about the proposed change?
The middle school is looking at having some educational nights where we're going to have that before school begins.
Okay.
And at the high school, we're actually looking at a different system that we piloted this year. We're going to have individual, what's called acrylic lockers in each of the classrooms. And the high school is looking at their policy and what they're going to do. I think they're ultimately probably going to land around, we're going to allow you to use your technology properly, but if you're not, then we're going to have you put it in the locker in the front of the room. And then you can pick it up at the end of the hour.
Okay.
So what I don't want is, I don't like having my teachers have to fight the battle, or my administrators have to fight the battle of a student handing them the phone. Not only is it just the wrong battle to be fighting, but at the same time, you're taking a $1,200 device in some cases and being responsible for it. And I don't want to put my employees and my staff in that position. So we're going to think outside the box. We're going to teach kids the responsible use of it, because that's one of the things our businesses tell us all the time. We can't get some of our young people off of their cell phones. They'll be, working at McDonald's at the drive-thru. They're taking orders, and you can see them. They're scrolling through their phone at the same time. Like, they've got to disconnect. They've got to get away from those technology traps.
So, I mean, we're running short here, but tell us some of the other things that you want to get across for this episode. What are some of the other things that are happening in Muskegon Public Schools?
The best thing that I think I can kind of sum it up quickly and in a few words is, we're not the district we used to be. We are on the cutting edge of academia. We are on the cutting edge of career preparedness for all kids. And when you look at where we're headed from a pre-K all the way through a 12th grade education, others are chasing us. And it's not just Muskegon County. It is other districts in the state. We are the 4th district to do this with Ford Next Generation Learning as a partner. And when our students graduate, here's our vision. When every student graduates out of our high school, they're going to have a diploma in one hand, and in the other hand, they're going to have something else. It could be a Microsoft Office certification. It could be a job working with you in broadcasting. It could be, being a CNA or a nurse. It's the choice and the voice of that student that decides what that other thing is. And I do not know of another district in this region that is doing student voice and choice to the full factor that we're planning on. What we tell our parents and teachers, and we'll tell our students, you're going to know exactly what you're doing the Monday after graduation.
Wow.
Period. You know exactly what you're doing Monday after graduation. I am tired of losing children. It needs to stop. And this is going to be a huge part of that stop.
I want to go back to the diversity thing. I had a chance to coach in college school, and you would be surprised how many of the kids had the problem because they never had to deal with diversity.
Correct. That's one of the things that really drew me to Muskegon, is the diversity of Muskegon, because I wanted my son to be educated in the real world, and I wanted him to have the ability and the skill set I didn't learn till college. And I was a first generation college in my family. So my family didn't know how to prepare me for college. They didn't know what to do. It was kind of comical at times, but not really, because it did change my life forever, which is great. When I talk of education, I'm not talking about just reading, math, and arithmetic. I'm talking about understanding yourself, having social emotional intelligence, knowing how to behave, not just in public, but also in private, because that's where your true character comes out. Our students are getting a well-rounded experience, but at the same time, we are building relationships with them that'll last a lifetime.
I want to ask you, how important is it for people to realize that we have to educate our kids because we are competing in an international market? It's just not a local or state, but this is international, and we have to bring our education, our standards up to be able to compete for people around the world.
Very important. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. It's, we have to get out of this mentality of our entire world is within 5 miles of our house. You can exist that way, but you have to break that mentality. When students, one of the huge challenges that a lot of high schools have is recidivism after they graduate, which means like they only make it through a year of college. They don't make it all the way through the trade school. They never actually get that certificate that we prep them for. When I visited one of the schools in Michigan that did this, they had a firefighter academy as part of one of their pathways.
Dear to my heart.
And I walked in there and I saw a firefighter teaching the class, and he was teaching the class. He's an actual firefighter. And I walked up to him and I looked at all the equipment, and the fire department had everything there. They had donated an old truck. They taught the kids everything. I said, what is your biggest challenge with this? Like, is it the finances? Is it the equipment? Is it interesting kids in it? He looked at me dead in the eyes and said, they graduate when they're 17 and I can't employ them till they're 18.
Wow.
That is his biggest challenge. I just faced that challenge this past summer. We had a student that was in our geometry and construction class. She earned an internship with Kristen Company out of Grand Rapids, working for them. She had to wait 3 weeks because she didn't turn 18 before graduation.
Wow.
And she had that position. She's doing that this entire summer. And that's what she wants to do. That's what she discovered with us. And that's where her passion is, in construction.
Pastor Burns.
I want you to wear your superintendent and parent hat, which you always wear. It's summertime, want to have fun, but also talk to the parents about some things to do over the summer to have their students ready come August.
We have summer school going on. We have 2 sessions. One's in June, one's in July. The stigma that was with summer school when we were kids is no longer. These kids are working in a $250,000 STEAM lab in Bunker Elementary School. The buildings are air conditioned, and it's a tremendous atmosphere of learning, both at the high school and at Bunker, where our 2 programs are at this year. I would encourage parents, talk to your kids. Help your students, help your children learn across the summer, whether it's just reading a magazine or a book. Just keep them active. And the more you talk with them, the more you can spend even 10 minutes talking with that child, talking with your child, and maybe even reading a page out of a book together. You're showing them the importance of what it is to have in life. A literacy skill, the importance of mathematics, things of that nature. We are beginning an after-school program this week that's going to run at Moon Elementary. And it's a community-wide program that they got some grant funding, so we're going to host it at Moon Elementary and on the grounds of Moon Elementary. And it's aimed at keeping our students educated, but at the same time in a safe environment so that they're not making those disastrous decisions that sometimes get made.
Numbers with band.
Numbers with band. Well, I can tell you the number that have chosen to enroll is more than double what it was last year.
All right.
So we have a new band director, Hope, and she is phenomenal. I couldn't ask for better. We have looked at her multiple times, and we have told her, the music department is yours. You tell us what you need to do. She's redesigned band uniforms. We're going to be ordering them. It's going to take us a while to get them. It takes a long time to produce them, but they're sharp. They're awesome uniforms.
Okay. Listen, we're going to have to get you back on it. We didn't get a chance to talk about Still and Nelson.
That's right.
But those are very important things. we want to get you
Yep.
back on to talk about. Matt, thank you so
No, I
much.
appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Look forward to seeing you and talking to you very soon.
Definitely. Have a good day.
All right, listen, you are watching and listening Torn in Two on 103.7 The Beat and M106. We'll see you after a couple of commercials.
The wait is over. The all-new Umoja Radio Network, home to over 40 black-owned radio stations and podcasts, is here for you. Connect to the world's fastest-growing collection of unapologetically black and proud media, from podcasts to independent black-owned radio stations, and access to the important news and music you need. Umoja Radio is from our culture, by our culture, for our culture. The all-new Umoja Radio is available right now on Google Play and the Apple Store. Join the movement. Be empowered.
When smoking gives you COPD, you learn to lie a little bit. You make up excuses like, I have to get my keys. You guys go on. Anything so you can walk at your own pace. I used to do that all the time. Those lies don't work anymore. My tip is, the worst lies are the lies you tell yourself. Like smoking isn't that dangerous.
You can quit. For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
As an Olympic athlete, I prepare for everything. So when I became pregnant, I thought I was ready. But at 32 weeks, I was diagnosed with severe preeclampsia and had an emergency C-section. Looking back, had I known the warning signs, I would have talked to my doctor sooner. Too many women die of pregnancy-related complications, and most are preventable. If you or someone you know is pregnant or recently had a baby, learn the warning signs. It could help save her life. Hear her.
Back to Torn in Two on 103.7 The Beat. I'm your host, Gregory T. Roberts, and Pastor Melvin Burns. It gives me a great honor, great pleasure. I'm surprised we have never done this before. To introduce the man, he just flew in on his private jet, which he had to take his helicopter to get here, which he had to get a limo to bring us to the front door. No, I tease him a lot, but we are great friends. What can I say about Paul? He loves the community. He cares about this community so much. And all he wants to do is provide quality education, bring knowledge to the community, bring the very best services to the community. And I'm just proud to be his friend. Put your hands together for the president of the United States. President, the president, and he runs this company well, Paul Billings. Clap your hands. You got to put the cape on him like James Brown. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you. It's a blessing to be with you, brother.
Man, how long have we known each other?
Ooh, decades, man. Man, it's been a long time, G, man.
Yeah,
We've been riding together, and this is the first time I've ever been interviewed by you, so this is funny and awkward. So, but necessary.
Totally necessary, and we're glad. People, look, Benita's already clapping for you.
Hey, Benita.
And so, we got a lot to talk about. I don't know where to start. Tell people a little bit about your history and how this radio station came about.
Oh my God! Now that's a long story right there, G, man. Well, I started off. I'm from Muskegon Heights, Baker Street, Lindbergh School, Muskegon Heights Middle School. I started DJing in high school, Muskegon Heights High School, doing the dances. We had a bunch of parties we used to do on Valley Street, and that transitioned into me going to college in Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor area, taking my student loan money to start a legitimate business of DJing while in college, refusing to ask mom for money. That transitioned to me getting a volunteer position at University of Michigan Public Radio, where I was a correction officer in the daytime, and then on the weekend nights I helped one of my friends out, Tony Brown, who had a radio show at the University of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And it transitioned to me doing mixes for Electrifying Mojo, who was on radio in Detroit at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And ended up moving back home to Muskegon. My beautiful mom gave me a house. I wasn't trying to come back home, but she lured me back and took my job here at the prison and continued to DJ and started a TV show that went national, the Underground Video Show, one of the largest independent music video show at the time. And I ended up working at WMRR. I always kept my connection to radio, WMRR, rock and roll station here in Muskegon. I also volunteered out at Omaha, Nebraska for a friend of mine who opened up a radio station. And he gave me the blueprint. He liked my energy and said, hey, I'm going to get you the documents to start your own radio station. And from there, got fortunate. I did our own engineering for the station and been on the air now 22 years. But the passion has always been about educating and empowering the people. So even though music is what we play, this whole mindset has been about empowering, educating, and our community about issues that affect their well-being. Well
said. Pastor Burns.
Pierre, over the last 22 years, what do you think's been the biggest involvement you've had, as the owner of the station, as the personality that is Paul Billings? How would you say you've evolved over that time?
Yeah, times have changed. When we first started YouTube, I don't even think YouTube was out when we started.
No.
When we started, high-speed internet wasn't. It was dial-up. It was DSL. That alone changed the way we get information, the way we receive music, the way we disseminate information, and at the pace that this information is disseminated. Now we're in an instant society compared to when we first started. There was a delay when stuff happening. There was a delay in communicating.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have the text messages. We didn't have what we have today. So I would say we evolved into a more efficient operation and a more probably a quicker to response to things that go on in the community, which is good. I can be anywhere and still do the radio show, still be able to monitor our transmitter readings, still to be able to look at our logs for the emergency broadcast equipment, still be able to do the QuickBooks, still be able to do the schedule, do everything that was required of man and management. Compared to 20 plus years ago, you couldn't do that.
Okay, so let's talk about the KFTTA program and what that stands for.
The Kids Free Trip to Africa program is something that we started in 2017. It all started with us really taking kids to Detroit to the Charles Wright Museum. And from the Charles Wright Museum, we would go there on the African World Festival weekend, and kids get a chance to, see the Charles Wright Museum. From there, at that time, it was the largest Black museum in the nation. And then we started taking kids to the museum in DC. And that was beautiful too. We stayed the night, all expense paid, free for the kids, and we collaborated with other nonprofits. I've been going to Ghana for a while, and I was like, I was always seeing, kids from Europe, white kids at the slave castles, and they were soaking up the history. And I was like, man, I would love for our babies back home to be able to be here and actually see the real history, not just hear about it, but see it and touch it. And reached out to Alina Zachary Ross in Muskegon Heights at the time, and she thought it was a brilliant idea. And it's like, yeah, we got to do this. And fast forward now to 2024, we would have 7 kids from Muskegon and 8 kids from Ypsilanti, along with Judge Smedley, Judge McNeil, Muskegon County Clerk Karen Bowie, author Tracy Bruce, Sholinda Ellis are joining us on this journey to West Africa.
When people are trying to take our histories out of books and trying to erase our history, how important is it for not only us, but those kids to go back to find out the true history of themselves?
It's definitely vital. It's vital for us to know, to see it, to touch it, and hear it from those who's been firsthand oral history. Our guides in Ghana are some of the best guides. The person that we utilize, he has hosted Usher. He had hosted NAACP president. He had hosted Ti, Roland Martin. So he's very good at what he does, and he doesn't water it down.
Mhm.
And so they're in for a awakening experience. Reading about it, it's a difference than being inside of it. Being inside of a slave castle for 10 minutes, you're going to feel like it's hours.
Wow.
And to imagine that your ancestors was there for 90 days at a time. There's no air conditioning. There's no light switch. There is no windows. There is a couple outlets where they pour water and pour food down on you, and you had to have your mouth wide open. There was no plates given to you. There was no forks. Your mouth was your plate. You open your mouth to get food. That's how you fed. So they get to see all that and see that you had to be strong to survive. And to survive that in the mid-Atlantic slave transition, to survive the brutal condition that they tried to do to us, there is a certain amount of strength element you have to have, that you have to inherit to be able to survive what happened. Because a lot of people didn't make it.
Yeah.
That's Burns.
Well, what is it you I know how important this is to you. What is it you see and feel in those students that's different from the time they leave after they have that entire experience and return? What is it you see in them that's different?
I think desire to do better, to work harder. We follow up with a lot of the kids, and I mean, in the moment, it's hard not to go down and see these things and not be spiritually impacted. You know, you would have to be inhumane to not have an experience to go down there, and so that alone shows you that, hey, man, we've been through a lot. So we've seen these kids actually work harder and understand that, you know, there are people on the other side of the world who have it a lot harder than us, and they still surviving and they still making it. And what's our excuse?
Well, how many kids have we taken over to Africa?
After this year, this would be well over 40 kids at the end of this year.
Now the radio station, I mean, you also did a reversal. You took kids out of tribe in Africa and brought them into the big city. Talk about that as well.
Yeah, through our NGO, the Bernice Mays Academic Improvement Project, which is an NGO, stands for non-government organization in foreign countries. Those are nonprofits. We understood that the kids from America were being impacted. We also wanted to have an impact on the kids from the village, where I'm a chief vet. The average income is $600 a year. And most of these kids' life has been inside of that village, where they're getting up early in the morning to go to the barns at 5 o'clock in the morning, and at 7 o'clock in the morning, walking to school, and then you go home, do your homework, and repeat. They never get a chance to experience some of these historical places that these kids from America get a chance to see. And so we decided several years ago to not only help the kids from America, but give the kids from the village opportunity to go to the slave castle, to go to the last bath, go to the Nkrumah National Park, the Independence Square. These are some of the things that played a significant role in Ghana's history. They read about it, but never would have had the opportunity to see. I mean, these kids have never stayed in a hotel, never been in the elevator, never ate at a restaurant, to have air conditioning. And so they're blown away about their history too, because unfortunately in school in Ghana, they don't teach enough about slavery in Ghana, and the fact that some of the chiefs played a role in slavery.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, when slavery was brutal, and slavery had been around in Africa for years, but it was not the slavery that was introduced in Northern America, where you didn't have your name, your religion, your dignity. It was indentured servitude, where you did something, you go and work for PA 7 days out of the month, or 4 or 5 days out of the week, and you go home. But you had to do that work. You didn't lose your family, you didn't lose your dignity, you didn't lose your religion, you didn't lose who you were. You were treated with respect. That slavery that happened in America was brutal, and most of the Africans didn't know what was going on the other side, because there was not no return. How are you going to get that message back? The chiefs would always fight for territory. You say, for instance, I'm coming from Fulani tribe. which went along the coast of Ghana trying to teach Islam.
Mm-hmm.
If I get into an area where they're not trying to hear Islam, you clash.
Mm-hmm.
You clash, you become war, you go at it, and whoever lose that war was sold into slavery.
Mm-hmm.
So you battle me, you lose. I take the head people from your bunch because I don't want you to reorganize. I take the leader from your bunch, the most talented from your bunch, because I don't want you to rally up against us again.
Mm-hmm.
And I take you and I sell you to the Portuguese or to the French or to the English who are coming to buy slaves. In exchange, they would give me wine, utensils, never gave them weapons, never gave them something to defend themselves. They always gave them something to appease them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, the chiefs played a role in that. But at one point, when the chiefs stopped doing it, that's when the Europeans said by force, well, then we will take you.
Yeah.
Well, I want you to speak, and I know this is like from the heart. And every time you go over there, how touching is this for you to see these kids' experiences?
It's emotional. I mean, I'm human. I'm very human and very sensitive on the inside because I know what it done to me. And so I know what it does to everybody who get a chance to experience that. Not just that, the fact that we have gotten over 30 passports. Not us, the community. I'll put it like the community has. There are at least 30 kids who have passports, visas, yellow fever vaccines because of this community. And that alone, getting a passport is a big deal.
Right.
You know, that's one that's proving that you're a U.S. citizen. That's proving that, and that's saying, yeah, you can leave this country at any time. I don't think half the country have passports.
Not at all.
They don't. So our community has played a role in that. That alone is a blessing. And to be able to say this community has supported kids to the point that we have given them a round trip airplane ticket to Africa for free and add on hotel, food, gas, exhibits, entertainment, that's all included. It's touching, man. It's very fulfilling to know that you're part of this operation that's been able to touch lives and change them forever. It's a great feeling.
It comes with a cost, though. I mean, all what you just said, shots, you airplanes, and all this stuff comes at a cost, and we still need help raising some money, correct?
Yeah, we're gonna be at the finish line within the next 4 or 5 days, and you can always donate. We do have operation cost in Ghana. We got staff there that's working with us. We got when you housing 25 people, these people are not going to be by themselves. They got to have per people. We got a certain amount of Ghana staff per people. For every 5 American, I got 1 Ghana person with them. And so when we go to the market, we split up in pairs. When we go to these places, I have enough people from Ghana that can speak the native language per people. So, we have to pay them. We got photographers. We have a guide that is with us 24/7. And so we got operation costs. We got bands. We got private performances that's going to be happening just for the people from the Kids Free Trip to Africa program. It's an operation. It is an operation. It is a production.
What is the response from the people of Ghana when they see kids from America coming over?
Man, they're overjoyed. They see you coming home. They see their loved ones, their family coming home. And a good percentage of us have Ghana, Nigeria, Benin, that whole area in your blood. It would be hard to find somebody whose ancestors 500 years ago was not in Ghana, Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Ivory Coast, Senegal. It'd be hard. And so they know that we are 3rd, 4th, 5th generation family members coming home.
Wow. Pastor Burns.
Well, I'm still blown away by something you said before. I guess, if you think about colonization, we don't think we know what we've learned over time about the slave trade, but to think I don't assume everybody in Africa knows the story. But to think, and as you were talking through colonization, part of the story the younger generation doesn't get either. So we're sort of connecting those two pieces. So to hear you saying you're bringing not just bringing students from here there, but you're even bringing students from Ghana into the process, man, that's just, I'm listening to it, I'm kind of overwhelmed. It's like, wow, that's really, that's amazing. You sort of close the loop for everybody, make that family connection. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. We had experience back during COVID, and we took some girls, a busload of girls to the city, and we did the similar things what the kids from America do.
Yeah.
And these kids stay maybe 15 kilometers from the ocean,
Uh-huh.
but had never been there to the ocean.
Mm.
And it was an emotional time. It was New Year's Eve, and we were holding hands at the water, and they just looking. They was amazed at the waves, and they're looking west as the sun was setting, and looking towards America and looking towards South America. And it was an emotional time. You know what I mean? Like, all things are possible, and we just thank God that we're trying to make a difference.
But Paul, what is your opinion when you hear and see that when there's so much history that comes from Africa and so much history with our people, now they're trying to take that history and whitewash it or take it away? What are your thoughts?
I mean, that's guilt to me. I worked in a prison. A lot of guilty guys or guilty women want to kind of like turn the temperature down on a crime to make it seem like it wasn't as bad, or I didn't do this what they said I did. That's just the guilt trip that some of these colonizers have on their hands. They don't want their kids to know what their ancestors did to humanity.
Yeah, I mean, how did that because it blows me away when people say, well, that happened in the past and our kids shouldn't have to feel guilty about something that happens. That just blows me away that people try to throw that smoke up in the air.
And they shouldn't. I mean, I don't think today's kids should feel guilty about what happened, but understand that at that time, your ancestors looked at black people as not being human. Those are facts.
Yeah.
We were cargo, we were pieces, we were a commodity. That's not your fault. That was the rule of the law of this country. That's something that America should bear, not just one individual. That was the culture that was promoted. So it's a reality. And from there, where do we go from there?
Mhm.
How do you feel about them now? Do you treat them as equal now?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Once
that's
you have that truth, what are you gonna do with it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what do you think about the economic impact as well? I mean, it may be 400 plus years, but the economic impact, there are families that, let's face it, they made their money back then and they still have that money. And also, if you look at people, when the word reparations is brought up and people flip out, people forget that slave owners received reparations back in the days when the war ended, when the whole slavery thing,
Yeah.
they received reparations.
Yeah.
But what about us?
Yeah. I mean, France is still trying to get reparations from Haiti. From Haiti just becoming free. And
Yeah.
people don't understand why Haiti is such a poor country when it comes to financing, but even though they have the resources, because France told them, you're going to pay us for the lost labor. You're going to pay us for the money we would have made. And all these other countries, including America, has not came down on France for doing this. They sided with the colonizers and with the slave owners in France, which also has about 20 other countries in Africa in bondage where they can't even print their own money because of France colonized them.
Wow.
They have control over Congo, the Benin, Togo, Senegal, France, and nobody calls them out on what they have done to humanity. But we just continue to call these countries poor. Why are they poor? Who's getting the resources? What country has benefited from that? Why does England royalty have diamonds from Ghana and Nigeria? Let's talk about those things. Don't get me going, G man.
Not that I'm trying to get you going. Is the thing that really irks me is that we don't find out about some of the history makers unless a movie is made. But there's so much history, vast history of our people, and it's trying to eliminate it is, to me, is just terrible.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a terrible place to be in. I will say this about Florida. Not everybody agree with DeSantis, but Florida has been teaching Black history. It's been mandatory for a long time that every kid learns Black history. So in order for you to graduate, you have to have Black history. Michigan, as liberal as we're supposed to be, doesn't have that mandate. So I will say the kids we have taken to Ghana from Florida, they all had Black history. Now DeSantis came in, was trying to change it and tweak it, and trying to attack the critical race theory and trying to attack what he called the woke culture, which I don't understand what the woke culture is.
Nobody understands
Yeah,
it.
So, but they have. I just wish Michigan would get to a place where we make it mandatory that our kids have to take Black history. And in Florida now they adding Asian history to it, and other ethnic groups. I think we're smarter. We're a better community when everybody learns each other history. We can respect it.
I agree with that. Pastor Burns.
Yeah. Before we get time gets away from us, well, because you're the boss, we can stay longer if you say so. But tell me this, and I've known you a long time. There's this term, they used to talk about a man in full bloom, where you feel like you've reached that point in life where you know exactly who you are and what you're supposed to be doing. I think about you when I think about that term. I've seen you over the years, be the man you are now. Would that term describe you? You kind of know exactly where your feet are placed on the ground and what you want to do with your life at this point and where you're headed?
I think so, Melvin. I think so, man. Thank you. And much love, respect to you. Yeah, it's been an evolving process, and just learning more. But a significant point in my life was when Franklin Fadal brought Roanoke Rashidi to Muskegon.
Okay.
And this was pre-YouTube. And he had all these images of African people from all over the world, from South America, from Australia, and I was blown away that these were people that had been there hundreds of years.
Yes.
And it opened up, it just opened up my mind and started researching, and it took me down this path where I'm at right now.
Okay.
Because I always thought that we were the minority.
Okay.
Only to find out we the majority.
Yeah.
We got to go to the board, and if I can get over there. Go ahead, Melvin.
Bonita Threadgill says, what was one of your favorite interviews and what was one of the most challenging stories to cover?
Oh my God. For me? That's for y'all?
That's for you.
Wow. Man, it's always hard when you interview people who are going through some things. And we had a young lady whose daughter was raped at the bus stop in Muskegon. And that case still, whose daughter, baby, was raped at the bus stop waiting for a bus to go to school. And this baby is at the station that day. And it was such a beautiful girl. And trying to make sure you disseminate the information out without, you got to be very sensitive during these times. So it was you want to bring closure. You want them to find this person, but it was a very touching time. It was very hard to not even break down when doing the interview, because this is a little baby. You sitting there, it was like 9-10 years old, and somebody had done that to this girl in the daytime at a bus, and it was tough. But we don't have other interviews too. Some maybe election of, even President Biden, the interview earlier this year was very time restrained because there were questions I wanted to ask, and we only had a certain amount of time to do these interviews because of the tight schedule. So it left me at a big incomplete. Like, that was not a PA interview. Because they answer, you can't cut them off. The answers could be long, and next thing you know, time's up. So it was, matter of fact, he talked to me more before the interview started. And I was like, we need to get started because I know you only got 10 minutes. Before we got started, he was really on point. Like he was talking about the things he's doing in Africa because he knew I was in Africa. And I didn't tell him, his people told him, but it was a tough interview because I was some things I wanted to ask the president that I didn't get a chance to.
That's good.
Okay, it's 3:01, Paul. I know, man, the show, it goes fast, but give us any information that if maybe there's somebody out there that can write a check for 40 more kids to go next year.
Amen. KidsFreeTripToAfrica.com is the website, and that'll take you to our GoFundMe page. You can call us at the radio station. And I got to say, I want to thank you, Muskegon. Muskegon has really, really showed up every year. People out of the blue. Even my Trumpers, bro. I got some friends who are diehard Trumpers writing $500 checks.
Nice.
$1,000 donations.
Yes.
Because they believe in this. And so we have crossed over in all different types of demographics of people believing in the kids. And I am totally grateful. The kids are grateful. And we can't be lost on that. And find a way while we go into this political season, let's find a way to find common ground for humanity.
Yes. I want to say this before we go. We're doing a band challenge. All you musicians out there, to donate to this cause. Funker, we did it. We want everybody out there, if you are in the music business, to donate to this cause, and we appreciate it. Paul, my buddy,
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Now, Entrepreneur of the Year as well from the Chamber. And we got to get you on more.
Thank you.
And I'll fly you in first to Tallahassee next time.
Thank you too, Melvin, man. Melvin is good, man. Like he's a city manager, man. He's a political science degree, but now he's converted over to a radio host. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's my buddy. Well, listen, hey, that is torn in two for this date. Remember, we said, but we really mean this. Go out and sow a seed in somebody's life. Pick up a kid, take them somewhere, library, museum, to the park. We got the parade. I mean, we had so much history. This, like, the question was posed to the superintendent: what can you do to your kids to keep them sharp in the summertime? How about you read a book about our history?
Read.
Take care. God bless. We'll see you next week on Torn In.